Clobba has two types of report formats. The first being summary reports. This is a simple report where it summarises the data into groups, such as looking at by employee or department, or even queue or auto attendant. The second type of report is a detailed report. This is where it breaks down each individual line of data, and you can see all of the elements to that line. So rather than summarising and bringing them all up to look at it at one particular level, like group, it breaks it down to show each specific line. To build a summary report format, you need to head to the admin section. To do this, select the 9 dots, and then simply select admin. Here in the admin section, you'll need to go to reports and report designer. In the report designer here, you can create one by simply selecting new. Then, once you tick the summary format box, a new option will appear to apply summary columns. Here, we now drag and drop the columns that we want to show as a summary. Therefore, if I drag number of calls, duration, ring time. If you want to have, say, number of answer calls and number of abandoned calls, you can simply do this by dragging and dropping in calls twice. What you can then do is you can go in and apply conditions to each of these columns. Therefore, I select the Set Properties button here. I can change the description of it to say answered calls, and then I change the conditions at the bottom to has condition abandoned no. Select OK. That will now just pull through the non-abandoned calls. If I go into calls again, select here, go abandoned, has condition abandoned yes. That will select OK. You can also apply further conditions to columns as well. So say I want to look at the number of calls that have a particular call type, or maybe even direction. I can do this with properties and then go has condition and change the field from abandoned to look at something such as maybe call type, or if I wanted to, look at direction, and I could just look at internal calls. Again, I can change the name of this within the section to say internal calls. It can get really granular in terms of how you want to do it. If you wanted to drag and drop a column in that was calls, and then you could simply go in and select has condition, and then you can also apply a has second condition as well. So if you want the amount of calls to calculate and meet two criteria to then be included within that column, you can do that and apply that within your summary format. You are also able to go in and change whether you want it to count or sum a certain column. Therefore, something like a duration, you can go in and you can change the format on the properties. At the moment it's sum, so therefore it will be the total duration, but if you wanted to, you could go and set it to be average, minimum or maximum. If I select average, I can then, like before, go and change the name. This can also be done with ring time, so I can go and select and we can change the sum to look at the maximum ring time. As you can see, I've now built various columns that will be accessible within the report formats when I use the report builder. Therefore, I can now set my description as whatever you feel appropriate, and then you can simply save. One thing to note is if you set it as accessible for yourself on the current site, therefore other people with the same access as you will be able to go in and use it and see this report format. A detailed summary report can also be built from the report designer. Simply select new. Rather than selecting the summary format option, you would just go through to say the call details. Then what you would do is bring through things such as call ID, caller, callee, date, time, and if you wanted to, you could select the call type name in there as well. Once you've selected the fields you want to have pulled through on your detailed report, you can drag and drop these to change where they would be within the columns. Therefore, bring that one to the top it will be the far left hand column. Once you've built the report to exactly how you want to show, again you can save, set your description, current site and set save. Then when you go to your report builder, this will be an option as a report format. When you then head back to the report builder, you simply go back to Clobba RT, reports, create new reports, and down here in the report format you will now see your new report format that you have made. If I now was to change the way I sort, this one I want to by time, and I was to simply hit run, this would now generate and the report will come at the top here. You can now see a detailed report, every line of the call, looking at the various different fields that we brought through.